Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and we're going to look at game number 1 in our 20 from 1982 series. But before we do that, we have to look at the honorable mentions, the games that just missed the top 20 from 1982 cut. And we're going to start with the sequel to Asteroids, Space Duel, which was actually pretty cool. This was created by Atari. You can play two-player simultaneous play on this game. There's various geometric shapes that you can shoot that are the asteroids. There's also a bonus stage. There's various enemies that take a lot of shots to bring down. And you have your shield. Very cool game. I kind of like it. Well, we're also going to look at Zookeeper by Taito. And this was kind of a noisy game, but it had a great premise. You try to wall in various zoo animals and keep them from escaping. You can also collect a net to return them to their pen. And you just try to keep as many closed in and before the timer expires. And wherever you walk, you lay bricks. And there's also a stage where you jump up platforms to reach the top and rescue a girl. And there's also a stage where you just try to jump over the animals and try to reach the escalators. And you get a free life if you do so, if you get to the top. Well, now we're going to look at Gravitar by Atari, and this is really hard. This is a color vector game in which you have to fight gravity on a planet and destroy a whole bunch of cannons. Really tough frickin' game. But it was popular nonetheless, and you have some stages where the action zooms in a bit. And you have a little tractor beam kind of thing that you can use to blast enemies on the ground. Very tough game, though. And now we're going to look at Buck Rogers and the Planet of Zoom by Sega. I like this game a lot. This is kind of cool. You shoot enemies in almost a Space Harrier type of setting while you're in a spaceship. And if you shoot enough enemies before the timer runs out, you get a bonus. And there's also a boss fight. Pretty cool for its time. And now we're going to look at Frontline by Taito, and this was a tough game. The controls were less than desirable, but it's a military warfare type of game. You fight enemy soldiers, and then later on you can jump in a tank and shoot enemy tanks. Rotate your turret around and get a good shot. And eventually you need to destroy the enemy fortress with a grenade. Kinda cool game, but the controls were bad. And now we're going to look at Frenzy, the sequel to Berserk. Berserk was more popular, but this had some cool elements added to it. You can destroy the walls, or some of the walls. None of the walls destroy you or are electrified. You can also destroy Evil Otto this time, but he will return faster. The enemies seem a little bit smarter than the robots from the first game, and there's various different machines in some of the rooms that can produce more robots or destroy all the robots or something. There's even an Evil Otto room. Kinda cool sequel, I liked it. And now we're going to look at Millipede, the sequel to Centipede by Atari. And this was a worthy sequel. There's now DDT capsules that can destroy a whole centipede for you, or millipede. The spiders are back. There's various other insects, though, that can do different things. And there's kind of almost bonus sequences in between levels sometimes in which you can get accruing bonus points. Good sequel. And now we're going to look at Bump and Jump, a classic by Data East, and also licensed to Bally Midway. You drive a car that can jump if you're at a certain speed. And you'll need to because the road dead ends here and there. And you can bump enemies into the walls to destroy them, or jump and land on them to destroy them. And yeah, you'll need to jump over dead ends, and you can reach a gas station at the end and get your bonus points. But now we're going to look at Pepper 2, which was Exidy's answer to Amadar. It's very similar. You surround boxes to fill them in, and the boxes that have a pitchfork in them will allow you to turn the tables on your enemies, and your enemies are eyes. Weird. And you are an angel until you collect the pitchfork, and then you're a devil, and then you can attack your enemies. There's also an enemy that undoes your trails, and you can go in between the 4 different stages and try to complete them in whatever order you like. Very cool game. I remember that in the arcades. Now we're going to look at Slither, which is a Centipede knockoff by GDI, I think it was, or Century 2. But this is cool because you get to shoot up or down. And there's snakes that you try to completely destroy. And there's also like a devil and a crow, or a raven, that try to make more cactuses which act like the mushrooms from Centipede, or maybe take them away. Very cool game. Good idea. This was super popular on the ColecoVision, as was the previous game, Pepper 2. But that was my 20 from my honorable mentions list. Now we're going to look at game number 1, Dig Dug, created by Namco and licensed to Atari in the US. This is my all-time favorite game. There's the stand-up cabinet, and there's the cabaret cabinet, and there was also a cocktail cabinet. And I have seen all 3 before. Mostly the regular stand-up. And there's the control panel. You have a 4-way joystick, and you have a pump button in which Dig Dug uses to inflate his enemies. And when he inflates it enough, he will make them explode, but not into a gory pile of innards, as you would imagine it would be in real life. But I love this game. Mr. Do is great, and it took elements from Dig Dug. It came out well after Dig Dug in the same year. But something about the enemy's artificial intelligence in Dig Dug that I find very fetching, so I made this number 1. But you can, once you throw out your pump and it connects with an enemy, if you press the pump button 3 more times, then you will overinflate them and they will explode. And Dig Dug, whose name is also Taizo Hori, will face 2 different types of enemies underground. They are called the Pooka, which is the ones that he just destroyed, and there is also the Fygar, which is a dragon, which you see 2 of them remaining. Now there are 2 ways that Dig Dug can destroy his enemies. He can overinflate them with the pump, or he can drop rocks on them. And we'll go ahead and get started. I own this game in my living room, and I think there might be a picture of it in this video later on that we'll look at. But Dig Dug will appear at the center, and after a short pause, you get to start the action. Now, there are 2 key ways to get some good points in this game. One is to line up the enemies in a way that you can destroy them with 1 rock. And I got 3 out of the 4 enemies. There can be a total of 8 enemies maximum to deal with in a game, or within a round. And the last enemy remaining will try to make a break for the top left of the screen and escape. You can let them escape, it's okay, sometimes you have to. But you can kill them for points. Now, speaking of points, the Pookas and the Fygars, if you destroy them with your pump up or down, then they will be worth 200 in the yellow area of the screen at the top, or at the very top. At the orange area, they're going to be worth 300. The light orange. The darker orange, they're going to be worth 400. And at the very bottom, the red area, they're going to be worth 500 if you use your pump up or down on them. The Pooka, if you pump it to explode it left or right, then it is the same amount of points as I just described. But the Fygar, if you overinflate it left or right, it's double the points. So at the top area of the screen, it'll be 400. The second layer down, it'll be 600. And the third layer down, it'll be 800. And at the bottom area, it'll be 1,000. So that's what you want to remember about the scoring. Now note that the Fygar can breathe fire on Dig Dug, unlike the Pooka. But the Fygar is a little bit slower than the Pooka. That fire that the Fygar breathes can go through walls of dirt, thin walls of dirt. But on the same token, you can also shoot your pump through thin walls of dirt and hit the enemies. But the best way, or one of the best ways to score points in this game is to line up those enemies so that they get squashed by a rock. And it's a good idea to make a dead-end shaft below the rock. That way, when they retreat, and they retreat in this game, they don't want to get squished. They will go back into the dead end. They will not get completely trapped, though, because as you've noticed by this point, they can turn into eyes and float through the dirt to get you. They can also turn into eyes and float through the dirt to escape when they're in a dead-end tunnel. But when they're trying to escape in that scenario, you can move left or right to guide them back into the path of the following rock. Something else I want to point out is you do not have to fully inflate an enemy. When even they are partially inflated, you can go through them because they will be inflated and then they will regress to a non-inflated state bit by bit. If they do regress to their completely non-inflated state and you're touching them while trying to pass through them, then of course you will get killed. After dropping 2 rocks on a stage, or a round as they call it, then you will have a bonus prize appear in the middle, right there where you're starting. And later on in the game, those bonus items get very lucrative. They can be up to 8,000 because the highest valued one is 8,000, and it is a pineapple. And you'll want to make that your priority to get that prize by that point. But you have to drop 2 rocks to make that happen. Oh, I just got that last one. Oh well. Yeah, you end the round either by letting an enemy escape or killing all the enemies. And it's good to remember from round to round the order of the enemies that escape from their pens by turning into eyes. If an enemy is really hot on your tail and you are digging under a rock and turn to get away, they can still catch you, even though when the action resumes from you dying, the rock will still fall and kill them. And can't quite catch the prize. The prize only stays on the screen for about 8 seconds or less. See, yeah, when you have a dead-end tunnel that the enemies back up into before they turn into ghost eyes and try to float away, guide them back into the path of the falling rock. it's just kind of cool to try to guess the artificial intelligence of the enemies and figure out what they're gonna do, which way they're gonna go. Ooh, just got out of his way. There, I squished 2 enemies before they could breathe fire on me or catch up with me. Can I get that green pepper? Yep. Yeah, by this point, you really want to try to catch that prize and have 2 rocks dropped. I very seldom can kill all the enemies with 1 rock. Even on the first stage, it's tough for me to do. But that's how a lot of super experts on Dig Dug do it. They consistently kill all the enemies with 1 rock. Now note at the top right, the rounds are numbered by the amount of flowers that you see in at the top of the screen. Ooh, that was pretty good. Like I was saying, at the absolute most, the amount of enemies that will show up are 8. And the least amount you will see are like 4, like on the very first stage. But eventually it's only going to be 8. There, I got that prize. Getting the prize by this point is obviously more important than catching the enemy, the last enemy. But just familiarize yourself with the layout of the stage, how you can set the enemies up to be killed by 1 rock. And again, ooh, that was nice. Again, the enemies will want to back out towards the bottom of a dead-end shaft that you build under a rock. And when they do get to the bottom, they'll turn into eyes and they'll want to float out. That's when you want to guide them back into the path of the rock. Oh, that was dumb. Damn it. And I missed the opportunity at the tomato. Yeah, the prize will only appear once on a stage after you drop 2 rocks. Yeah, I was always pretty good at this game. And there's, of course, experts that can reach 1,000,000 points. Oh, I didn't direct the last Pooka back into the path of the rock like I should have. Oh well. But yeah, remember to slightly inflate the enemies enough so that you can go through them. The enemies can go through the inflated enemies too, but make sure that you inflate them enough so that they don't completely deflate and kill you by touching you as you're trying to pass through them. Just a lot to remember about this game. I just love the challenge to this. As you get further in the game, the enemies are quicker to leave their pens by turning into ghost eyes. Oh, I missed him, crap. Yeah, there's various food prizes, and by this point, they are definitely worth trying to get. And this is my favorite stage of all. This is the 13th stage. Starting with the 13th stage, every 4 rounds will repeat. And this is where you can get a lot of points, and that was pretty good. Set the rock up just like I have, and you can get a lot of points that way. A good game of Dig Dug is well over 100,000 points. Ooh, can I get that prize before he escapes? Yep. You get 10 points per inch that you dig. Ooh, I just missed getting burned. if you make a lot of turns as you dig, then you can get more points that way. Just get used to turning around and quickly inflating enemies. Oh, that didn't work out as well as I hoped it would. As you set them up for a rock to get crushed. Yeah, I own Dig Dug in my living room. I think later on we'll see a picture of that in my living room in this video. Yeah, definitely by this point you want to get that prize. Just kind of play with each level and learn the artificial intelligence of the enemies. Learn which order they come out of their pen. Yikes! Oh, that was pretty good. Like I said, I'm pretty good, and there I steered the rock back onto the last Fygar to kill him. He's gonna get away, screw it. But yeah, keep making turns when you're digging for points, and you'll make the point counter increase quicker. Sometimes you need to turn around and inflate an enemy slightly so that you ensure that a rock will kill them. Some I did not mention yet is that, and you might have figured this out by now. Oh shit. As you play through a round, at some point the speed will increase for the enemies, and you'll hear a little sound effect indicate that. Yeah, see, we repeat round 13, which is the very lucrative level. Learn to make the enemy as eyes follow you in a way that either deters them from following you or sets them up beautifully to get squished by a rock. Ooh, am I gonna catch that? See, that's a cameo of the Galaxian flagship from Galaxian, and I was able to pick it up for 7,000 points. And starting on level 18 is the pineapple. And that will be the prize from now on. And it is 8,000 points, so you definitely want to try to get it. Squish that Pooka there. Awesome. Yeah, the most points you can get for killing the enemies with a rock is squishing all 8 of them with one rock, and that's 15,000 points. So yeah, try to get as many enemies with a rock, and try to get that prize. Eventually, when you get far enough in the game, all the enemies will... Whoa, he almost breathed fire on me. All the enemies will leave the pen early and start to give chase all at once. It gets really hard at that point. But yeah, I've just kind of figured out a pattern. It may not be the perfect pattern, but it gets me far enough. Get away, I want that pineapple. Yeah, I just got it. But yeah, get those bonus items. Line up enemies for one rock to squish them all. Well, when you learn to squish a whole bunch of enemies with one rock, then that'll clear out a whole bunch at least, so that you have very few to deal with the rest of the way. But yeah, this game was everywhere in every single arcade. I'd seen this in numerous non-arcades. I remember seeing this at a laundromat. Ah, crap. Kind of screwed myself there. This game has 256 levels, and the 256th level, or round, is a kill screen. And we'll look at what that does a little bit later. Oh, damn it. I just had to get that prize. Yeah, it only lasts on the screen for about 8 seconds. Oh, I just missed the other one. Note that the rock will take out a strip of land if it falls through that strip. It'll take it out and keep falling. This game had such great sound effects, great music. God, everything about this game was just awesome to me. The best I'd ever done on this was like 300-something thousand at an arcade, but that was mostly because they had a different joystick unscrewed. It had a different joystick, which was more responsive and easier to control than the usual arcade joystick on this. But you get this little fanfare if you get the highest score. And you get a little fanfare as you put in your initials. It's not so much how far you get in this game, it's how many points you score. Learn the tricks on how to get the higher points. Don't care so much about how far you got in the game. But that is the all-time classic Dig Dug, created by Namco and licensed to Atari in the US. This is on so many different Namco museums or Namco classic collections or whatever. And rightfully so. It was fan-freaking-tastic. And again, I own this in my living room. But that's Dig Dug, game number 1 in our 20 from 1982 series. Mr. Do was a terrific game, no doubt, but had to put Dig Dug at number 1. And yeah, Dig Dug's name is actually Taizo Hori, and he's been in the Mr. Driller series. And we're going to look at the kill screen. There it is, level 256, or around 256. It shows up as 0 at the bottom right, but it's 256. And they place a Pooka on you to start, and that automatically kills you, and you'll run out of lives that way. Nothing you can do about it. That's Dig Dug's kill screen. And here is the Dig Dug cabinet in my living room. There it is. I also have a Neo Geo machine with a cool Neo Geo plaque that Atari Age forum member Charlie Catt, or Anthony Durso, gave to me. Very, very nice guy. And I also have a Phoenix cabinet. But none of those games work right now, unfortunately. I've got to get them fixed. But that was Dig Dug, game number 1 in our 20 from 1982 series, created by Namco and licensed to Atari in the US. I thank you for watching my 20 from 1982 series. Very soon we'll look at my 20 from 1983 series. Bye-bye, folks.
Pac-Man. That's me. Pac-Man.